Welcome back to Hash's Numbers. I'm Thomas. I'm here with my co-host.
Justin Kim.
And today we're going to be breaking down the conference championship weekend and kind of get started on the Super Bowl preview. We're going to have 4 episodes of Super Bowl preview, so or 3 episodes, so look forward to that. But let's get into the review of the two games. Two really good games of different manners. Got a low-scoring game to start off the day with the Patriots squeaking by the Broncos off two turnovers by Jared Stidham that led to a touchdown and then a field goal that the Patriots were able to get. And then in the second half, um, very low scoring. I don't think either team, or I guess the Patriots scored a field goal to start the half. And then outside of that, there was no scoring. So, Justin, what are your thoughts on this game? Especially with the unfortunate situation of Bo Nix being out in this game and it being such a close game, and also, the snow coming in the second half, maybe complicating things. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we'll start off for the Patriots. Did they really play that good? I genuinely don't think so. Offensively, they they're just running the ball a lot, I say, with Ramondre Stevenson. I calculated his average like per touch, right? It was 2.84, so he's just getting shut it down. He still ended with 71 yards, but it's just a lot of carries there. And Drake May being able to run, I feel like that was a little difference maker. And then on the passing wise, he did actually like nothing in my opinion. And defensive wise, they didn't get that much sack. They were able to get pressure. Unfortunately, it was against Stidham, so we really don't know like if their defense is true or not. They shut it down CJ's shot, so it's just something there. And for the Broncos wise, Jarrett Stidham looked better than Drake May is what I would say. Drake May couldn't find anything at all. It's just unfortunate that it was snowing for Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't played for a while. That interception and like in the fourth quarter, I feel like that was just a prayer ball, prayer ball, just because they had no time and it was just very snowy. For the rushing side, RJ Harvey, I think he did pretty good where he broke some tackles for like 9 yards, a few 9 yard plays, and then by adding on to the pass wise, a lot of injuries were there. Pat Bryant was out of the game, and Troy Franklin was also out. And then everybody knows that Bo Nix was out, which I have a feeling that Broncos would have won if they're all healthy. Defensive wise, shout out to that defense. They're calling that defense not a fraud, but like not a very good defense. Where shut out this game against a very like high scoring Patriots team, I'd say.
Yeah, my main takeaway for this game, I'll go back to the defense you just talked about. I definitely think it was aided by the snow, right? It was not a lot of passing game. Um, Obviously, we'll never know if Bo Nix played or not, like what the difference would have been. But I will say, like the running, Jared Stidham surprised me with mobility, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. Obviously, that was kind of boosted by some of the read option scrambles. But you mentioned Ramondre only having 2.8 yards per carry, right? RJ Harvey had the same thing, 2.8 yards per carry. So it's not like either running back was really efficient in this game. And I did say, they have to lean on the Broncos have to lean on the running game to have success. And obviously the Patriots run defense is one of the best is the best in terms of yards per game. Obviously that showed Broncos only had 79 rushing yards, while the Patriots have 141 as a team, right? Drake May having 10 for 65 with a crucial touchdown, right? And then a crucial conversion on third down with his legs to seal the game, right? I think that was the ultimate difference. And I think if Bo Nix was playing, that's what I would say, like, oh, that could be the equalizer where Bo Nix has the mobility to make some scrambles where Jared Stidham looked like he was more looking to pass when he got out the pocket, right?
Hmm.
Um, in terms of like the Patriots, there I think another big difference is the sacks and like the yards that come with it. The Patriots got sacked 5 times, and we knew this into going into this game, the Patriots were going to get sacked, right? Broncos
Hmm.
having the lead D line. Patriots O line's been struggling, especially on that left side with Campbell going against Bonito. But he only took sacks for 21 yards total, right? Um, with Jared Stidham, he had 3 sacks for 31 yards total. And that's the difference in my opinion. I think getting sacked for 10 yards a sack, right? That's going to be more detrimental to your team than for the Patriots only getting sacked for 4 yards a sack, right? Second and 14, in your mind, you're still like, oh, I can still do this, right? third, let's say you get third and 9 instead of second and 5. You're like, we can still convert. Versus if you get second and 19, second and 20, in your head, you're just like, let's get field position. Let's set up a better punt, set up the better third down, right? So I think that's
Yeah.
like the one difference. Obviously, the one sack where he fumbled it, that's going to be a big contributor to the number. But just taking 10 yards a sack for 3 sacks, I think is very, very like hurtful to the team. And then I think the Broncos play really well on defense. You mentioned it. This defense wasn't the problem, right? Against the Bills, you definitely saw them get torched up a little bit, but when it came down to it, they made the plays. This game, in the snow, you knew it was gonna be defensive fest, and both defenses really showed out. Um, and what's next for the Broncos first? They got some money in the offseason. Russell Wilson's money finally coming off the books, so they're gonna have some money, but they're gonna have some key free agents to re-sign. They may be looking for a new running back. They may be going with RJ Harvey. And then I feel like they might be going for a receiver. Because
Yeah.
I feel like the defense is pretty set. Just bring back some of the key guys, make sure you don't have any holes there. I feel like all three levels of the Broncos are pretty solid. Maybe get a second cornerback. But other than that, it looks pretty good there. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on the Broncos like going into the offseason?
I mean, for sure. I think this team will be for sure coming back next year around here. That's the expectation, just because this defense is very elite, and I feel like this offense was, getting into the rhythm. I just feel like we've been saying it all year, or like in the last off season, where Broncos just need one more playmaker. Where Evan Ingram wasn't that guy this year, and I mean, Troy Franklin, he had a somewhat breakout season, I say, but I feel like they need to draft like a player like Conception maybe in the draft. And yeah, I'm looking at the free a or like at the free agent right now. Few free agent players are like Justin Shernaud, Alex Singleton, and John Franklin Myers on defensive side, where hopefully they're back. And wait, so I'm looking at this, but the Broncos cut Evan Ingram, right? Did
If they
they
cut
get
Ingram,
the money, right? Not like lose some money?
let me see.
Because like Evan Ingram actually did nothing this year, so
Um, if the Broncos cut him, I'll take a look real quick.
and then
So, okay, if the Broncos cut Evan Ingram, they're gonna free up. Let me see the money real quick.
yeah, I mean Broncos have like decent amount of money and there's just a like a little bit to resign, so I think this team could definitely improve.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the. I think they free up about 7 million.
yeah, that would definitely help. That would help a lot. Not gonna
I'm
lie.
not. Don't like quote me on that. I'm not a cap expert, but it looks like if they were to cut him, they would get about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
I
would
got it. I
help a
got it. I got
lot.
it. Okay. So if they cut him pre June 1st, they would get 3. They get 3 million.
Damn, it's not even that much.
If they cut him post June 1st, they get 6 million, 6.5 million.
So you gotta probably cut in post.
And then there's the trade money where you get 8 million and 11 million. But I don't know if you're trading Evan Ingram. But we'll talk about the Patriots now. They're gonna be going to the Super Bowl. On a quick down the Broncos, in the draft. So obviously we know the Rams lost to the Seahawks. We'll get into that a little bit later. But because of that, the Broncos have the lower pick. So they have number 30 instead of 20, instead
9.
of yeah, instead of 29, they have number 30, which
I
usually,
know.
it's one pick difference. You're not really thinking like that's a big difference, right? But the thing
Hmm.
is the Rams may be looking for a receiver as well. Devontae's getting older. You'd think they'd try to find his replacement soon. And the like in this game was pretty much Puka and Devontae. Outside of that, you didn't really have a third option. So
Hmm.
that's just the one thing, like a little side note that like for Broncos fans, it's unfortunate that the Rams lost instead of won. Because if the Rams won, I believe they would have been the 29th pick. The Seahawks would have been the 30th pick.
Yeah.
Um, Now we go to the Patriots. The Patriots will be going to the Super Bowl, their first one since they won against the Rams in 2018. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on this Patriots team going to the Super Bowl? Anything you like for the Patriots going to the Super Bowl? Anything you don't like?
Yeah, they had a donut easy, very easy schedule in my opinion. This team, I mean, teams I say like decent, they beat the Bills once, they lost to the Bills once, so that's just a little something. They had a very donut easy schedule regular season wise, and for the postseason wise, you really look at it, right? I mean, Chargers, they have a iffy O line, like what all Chargers people are saying, which, or like they had a lot of O line out, which could definitely play a factor there. And the Texans, I mean, CJ Stroud played dog, but like at the
But I
same
mean,
time,
okay,
your wide receiver.
okay. I'll intervene here, okay? The schedule wise, yeah, they have easy schedule, but it's not like you pick your schedule. This isn't college football where you say like, oh, they picked to have this schedule. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You can only play who's on your schedule, and you can argue the Bears had the easy schedule too. That's why they won the division, right? They got last place. They got the last place schedule for this year, and they got dog walk. They got dog walk to the first place in the North, right?
I mean, their playoff road was pretty hard, like unlike the
And they
Patriots, is
lost.
what I'm saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
lost, and they lost.
But like Patriots, if you really look at it, CJ Stroud didn't have his tight end and his wide receiver one, so it's a little something there. And Broncos didn't have their QB one, wide receiver two and three, so a little something there. But I think they
Okay, so
get
you tell
smoked by the
me.
Seahawks, in my opinion.
Okay, you tell me then. Who's a better team, the Packers or the Chargers?
I mean, I think they're like on the same level, no?
Okay, so they both had a cookie first round team then. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
if you said they're the
no,
same level and you call
no, 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 no. With Chargers having their own line, I say they're the same. But if they don't have their own line, I probably like lean a little bit towards the Packers. To be honest, to be fair.
okay, but the Packers are also missing guys too.
I mean, yeah.
You can't call the Chargers an easy first round matchup if you're gonna call the Packers a difficult one, right?
I mean, a division rival is always a hard game, no? Am I right or wrong?
It's a hard game, but it's not necessarily in terms of
I mean,
difficult. Like
I mean,
we call
it's a
them
division rival, so
are the Raiders a
if division
difficult
rival,
are the Raiders a difficult game for the Broncos?
no, because Raiders are what? That's way different, though.
Okay, so are the Chargers good or not? Because you're making
I
it sound
mean,
like the Chargers are the Raiders, and then you're gonna say, "Oh, they're difficult. They're a difficult. Like they're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Are the
I
Chargers
mean,
a good team or not?"
I'll lean towards the good side, but like at the same time, they
Okay,
had a
my
injury
main thing
that.
is this: one, you can't control your schedule, and two, if you have an easy game, you gotta take care of business. And the Patriots have had two like out of these playoffs, right? How many non-one score games have there been? Not
Hmm?
many. The Patriots have had two, right?
Yeah.
CJ Stroud throwing four interceptions, right?
Hmm.
If you don't intercept him, it's not like CJ Stroud's just, he's throwing interceptions to the Patriots. Their Patriots are getting the interceptions. Whether it's a bad decision or not, you still have to intercept the ball. And we saw in yesterday's Seahawks game, if you don't intercept the ball, right, you can give up a touchdown on the next play because of a penalty that shouldn't have, that is arguable, but you have to take advantage, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, Drake May didn't have the best games, but at the same time, he's doing enough to get the double digit wins, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean
that's just
that's
my main
true.
thing with the Patriots. You can say they have an easy schedule, you can say they didn't play anybody, but you can only play who's on your schedule. They didn't pick the Broncos to not have Bo Nix. I bet you if they would have had the choice, they wouldn't want to beat the Broncos with Bo Nix, right?
For sure.
If you would say, hey, the Patriots, you get to choose if Troy Franklin's playing or not. I bet you the Patriots are saying, yeah, let's have Troy Franklin play. Because the Patriots don't want excuses. That's their narrative all season. Oh, they've had easiest schedule, easiest schedule.
I mean, that's gonna continue though. So,
Okay. And I know it's going to continue, but it's not like you get a choice, right?
I mean, yeah, that's true.
And
I
I guess
mean,
that leads me to like I knew you were gonna bring that up. That leads me into like the Sam Darnold narrative, right?
mhm.
Everyone had the narrative that Sam Darnold was a playoff choker. How many playoff
Yeah,
games has he played before this season?
one.
Right.
Right.
And everyone said Sam Darnold was a bad quarterback, right?
Hmm.
You can think, look at the two franchises he played for, and you can say if any quarterback went to those systems, right? When was the last time the Jets had a good quarterback since Sam Darnold?
Never.
Yeah,
Aaron
they had
Rodgers.
Sam Darnold. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he barely had a good season, right? Aaron Rodgers is one
Yeah.
of like Aaron Rodgers has made the playoffs in every year except the one again with the Jets, right? The two seasons with the Jets. Well, the first one he tore his Achilles, so I won't blame him for that. But the second one, right? He had Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, and he still
Hmm.
couldn't make the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
So narratives are one thing. Like you don't build your narratives. If I bet you people looking back now wouldn't say Sam Darnold's a playoff choker, but before the year, oh yeah, you could tell everyone's like, oh, wait till he gets to the playoffs, wait till he gets to the big game, right? He went 14-3, beat the Niners, and guess what? They said, oh well, in the playoffs, he's a playoff choker, right? You can't control your narrative. You can only do what you can control, and the Patriots have been doing what they can control, winning games against maybe inferior competition, maybe not, right? But
I mean, yeah,
at the end of the day, you can't say, oh, well, the Patriots did this to themselves. They didn't, right?
true.
So, I mean, going to the Super Bowl, there's some good like Drake May is still that guy. Like he poses like the best running threat of all the AFC quarterbacks still remaining, right?
Hmm.
Um, and at the end of the day, you can only play who you play. So I think the Patriots have done a really good job this season controlling what they can control, kind of, shedding the narrative and doing what they need to do.
I don't know, but they gotta prove me wrong here against Seattle just because Seattle is very like red hot and they have no injuries. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, hopefully no injuries on Seahawks, but
Yeah.
yeah, they Patriots just gotta prove me wrong here. I think it's a blowout.
Last thing on the Broncos. We mentioned this before the show, but do you think Sean Payton knew it was going to snow?
I mean, I think like the pod or not podcaster, but like the announcers were expecting snow from what I was hearing.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, I meant Sean
So
Payton.
he has to obviously know if even if the announcers are like prepared and stuff.
Yeah. Do
I
you
mean, okay, but no, I think like nobody expected like the snow to be that hard though.
That's fair.
So
That's fair. Do you think he should have, knowing back? I mean, obviously you can't go back now and like say what you should have done. But going back, do you think they should have kicked the field goal in the first half, early when it was no snow. It was just just
I mean,
cold.
I mean, I like the call going for it, but it's just unfortunate how it's not. I mean, I sh- if the coach knew it was gonna snow,
Here, I'll
I
break
should.
it down. On one hand, yeah, you're in opponent territory, right? And it's a fourth and one, fourth
Yeah, I
and
mean,
one
you
at
gotta
the
go for
14,
it in
at
my
the
opinion,
14.
but like,
But here's my other thing, and then I don't think there's a wrong answer, right? I'm sure Champagne had his reason, but it's snowing, and you have a backup quarterback who doesn't run. When he got pressured, right? He ran backwards and had to force a fade ball, right? And when you have a non-mobile quarterback, that's not really the best option on fourth down.
hmm.
So, do you think he should have gone for the field goal? Do you like the decision? You can like the decision. I mean, there's
I
a
mean,
sense of aggressiveness.
I'm like 50-50, if I was a coach, I'd be an aggressive coach, so I like going for it, but at the same time, that's what it really costs the season. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Just food for thought. But we'll go on to the second game. The Seahawks and the Patriots, or the Patriots, Seahawks and the Rams, they faced off to face the Patriots in the Super Bowl. In another classic game, the Seahawks got out early. They scored a touchdown, and then they kept the Rams at bay for a lot of the first quarter. But late touchdown for the Rams put them up, and then a late touchdown just before the half put the Seahawks up going into the half. And then in the second half, it was pretty much just the Seahawks making a double digit, and then the Rams coming back to keep it to one score. Ultimately, the Seahawks got a late defensive fourth down stop, and then a late stop when the clock was under 20 seconds with no timeouts to send their ticket to Santa Clara. So, what's your thoughts on this game first?
I mean, yeah, I was looking at stats. It's just interesting to see how Matthew Stafford only got sacked once. But yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford bought out. He was showing why he's the MVP on like Drake May, you know? And rushing wise, I saw that the carries were even for Blake Curran and Kyron Williams, so it's just a little interesting to see there.
I'll say something real quick. Corum definitely had more like he definitely looked like he had more efficiency than Kyron Williams. You could see Kyron
Yeah,
Williams was kind of he's like that power guy hitting the holes, and you could tell the Seahawks were kind of like getting to him early. With Corum, it was more like speed and finesse, right? So
yeah,
he was able to hit
it
the
was
hole like
fast. Yeah,
yeah, and that's why he was more efficient. I think that's why he got more carries. But
yeah.
continue.
That and I mean for passing wise, Devontae Adams was. I think this might have been one of his best game of this season, and Puka Nacua just continues to dominate. Which I think he's definitely a top five wide receiver, just because there's a lot of great wide receiver in the league right now. Then just the fumbling. There's a lot of fumbling issue where Xavier Smith. I think I don't know why is he laying down and trying to catch the ball. That was a very like iffy play from him, and he had two muffs, which one is already enough. And going on to the Seahawks, Sam Darnold like impressed me a lot this game just because I thought he was gonna throw a pick at some point. Worried about that, but he played very efficient and like balled out. I mean, those three sacks I say aren't that huge or like a difference maker. And K9 looked very good, showing why he could be a RB1 in the future, maybe somewhere else, or I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see the like backcourt duo for this team. And Jason's a dog. We all know that, and the defense made a hugely stop. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of breaking down the stats. With the Rams first, the Seahawks run a lot of zone coverage, so you like everyone talking about like, oh, you know, um, Puka Nacua can't beat man coverage. When the
Yeah,
Seahawks
he
ran man
can't.
co when the Seahawks ran man coverage, he had a touchdown against Tariq Woolen. He burnt Devin Witherspoon on a little crossfade.
I mean,
He had most of his catches in that man coverage. So a lot of people who said that he can't be man coverage were shut up in this
I,
game
I mean, why was Kyler Gordon shoving him down then?
because of it was because of the pressure, and that's what I was gonna get to.
Oh,
Matthew Stafford had
oh,
no pressure, and the Seahawks don't blitz,
oh.
right?
I mean,
So if you're not
their D line's very good though, in my
Yeah, let me
opinion.
get there. If you're not getting pressure with your D line, right? You're not
Yeah,
going to get pressure if you're the Seahawks. They don't bring a blitz. They don't.
yeah,
They don't hang their secondary in man coverage. Okay.
sure,
The
yeah.
Bears they blitz, right?
Heavy boost, yeah.
Heavy blitz. So when it's early in the game, Matthew Stafford not making mistakes, he'll hold the ball, take sacks, or just dump it away. But when it came down to the most, right? Puka Nacua won in man coverage. It wasn't a deep ball. It was just on a third down. You need to win. He won. The Seahawks weren't going to let him do that, especially after early man coverage. Oh, he burnt this guy. He burnt that guy. He was having his way with anybody who they wanted with the man coverage. So what they did was they went back to his zone coverage, right? And yeah, Puka was going to have his catches in the zone coverage in the middle, with the short slants. But it's better than giving up a deep bomb to Puka and his contested catches. It seems like Puka catches everything contested, right?
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
And then you saw when they were in the zone, right? The key play, the big penalty from one. Before that, in the zone coverage on a cover four, Reek carried him all the way down to the sideline, right? And Matthew Stafford had to throw that to Puka Nacua. Because it wasn't man coverage, nobody else was like open, right? They found the zone. Well, Reek one was able to make a play and he would have had interception if Puka didn't swat it out, right? And then you put obviously the taunting penalty, then you put Rico in a semi-man coverage, and it didn't work out. Instant touchdown. But you could see Puka in the zone coverage, he's a zone killer. And the Seahawks were willing to let him do that, especially if it meant Matthew Stafford would get condensed down. And toward the end of the game in the fourth quarter, when the Rams didn't score in the fourth quarter, um, or they had no scores in the fourth quarter. You could tell the Seahawks were willing to just let him make his way down. But in the end zone, in the goal line, right? When they
Hmm.
needed the most, you ran a really good zone. Weatherspoon made a really good play to bat that ball down, right? So
Hmm.
Matthew Stafford is going to have his yards, and in Seattle, you could tell he had his yards, right? I mean, he had what 400 yards the other game, and then 374 this game. He's gonna give yards. It's just gonna be if Sam Darnold can compete. And going to the Seahawks now, when Sam Darnold signed to the Seahawks and they announced that there was a clause where the Seahawks could get rid of Sam Darnold after 1 year and they wouldn't be like have a big financial penalty. That was the big thing with me. I was like, okay, I'll take that. Sam Darnold's good, cool. He's bad, we can get rid of him, move on to the next. Now it's like, man, is Sam Darnold gonna come back? Like, it's only 3 years. Can we get him for 5? Can we get him for 7? Right? And I really applaud the leadership, the ownership, the GM, and coaching staff for getting rid of Geno Smith. Not that Geno's a bad player. I appreciate what Geno did for the Seahawks, right? He had a couple of
Yeah.
great years in Seattle, some great memories, right? Making the playoffs. But you knew Geno wasn't the guy. And coming in, I didn't know Sam Darnold was the guy, but this performance today, no interceptions, right? Taking care of the ball is the big thing. The sacks I can deal with. You still have the ball.
Yeah.
The interceptions are
Yeah.
the ones where it's the killer, right?
Hmm.
And Sam Darnold taking care of the ball, right? Finding his guy. And JSN after last week against the Niners, those conversations. Oh, JSN isn't that guy, right? Well, he showed he was that guy today. And Clint Kubiak put up a really good scheme to get him open. Shaheed finally got a deep ball, right? I feel like we could use that more. But if the teams are going to play back, I don't know if you can use Shaheed in the deep ball like that. And Cooper Cup. It seemed like every time we needed a big catch, Cooper Cup was the guy to get that big catch, right? Touchdown on third down, big conversion on third down on the last drive for the Seahawks. I feel it was an all-around great game. Seahawks, the defense, they got torched a little bit, but Matthew Stafford's also an MVP candidate, likely MVP winner. So there's really not much you can do. Puka's, one of the best receivers in the game. There's really
Yeah.
not much you can do. Um, Looking forward for the Rams, right? There's two big key issues, right? There's a second receiver. You need to find a second receiver, right? The Rams, they had Puka, Devontae, but Devontae's getting older, right? And then, I mean, your next receiver was, I don't, like, was Mumpfield, right? You had
I mean,
Parkin.
Mountfield's not even that bad though.
Yeah, but he had two targets, no catches. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what like two targets were, if they were just like out of bounds throws or whatever, but two targets, no catches, it's hard to have that, right? Your receivers were Colby Parkinson at tight end. Blake Corum, running back, Kyron Williams, running back, Tyler Higbee, tight end. No one else had a catch.
They run a lot of tight end sets though.
They do. I'm
So
not saying there's nothing wrong with that. But when you run a lot of tight end sets, you gotta have a good running game. And against the Seahawks, right? It's gonna be hard to have a good running game. Um, Yeah. Blake Corum had a good, good few carries. He was kind of like being that guy, but other than that, there was really no like room for running. And not having a third receiver sometimes, I feel like you need to have at least a third receiver that's like suitable when you need him, right? And obviously the tight ends are cool, but they're more for blocking. You saw a big drop from Colby Parkinson. Higbee only had one catch, right? And then Corum and Kyron, they're not really guys who stretch the field. So that's just the thing. Like, you got to be able to have at least another receiver, in my opinion. And then the cornerbacks. I just
mhm.
think everyone from the Rams side looking at it, they knew the Rams defense of the secondary was going to be the cause of like some issues, right? Because their front seven is good. They have dogs in the front seven, right? But in the back four, right? The back five, it was like, you have some question marks. They can get interceptions, they can make big plays, but sometimes they might break down coverage, such as Jason's touchdown, right?
Yeah.
And Jake Bubbles touchdown. Shout out Jake Bubble.
Hmm.
Looking forward for the Seahawks. You gotta fix up some stuff on the defense, in my opinion. I think you're facing another MVP candidate, so there's definitely like opportunities for the deep ball. Drake May has the best deep ball in the game. So, you saw the success in the Rams that the deep ball was the big catalyst, right? When the
Hmm.
Seahawks kind of felt like, oh, they got to 11, they threw three deeper balls and then they scored quick. So I just think the Seahawks gotta look at that deep ball. Why was the deep ball like the issue? And then I think for the Seahawks getting that running game back on track, K9 didn't have a very efficient game. Without Charbonnet, you're not going to have that power. So I think, in my opinion, you got to fix that running game. Not fix, but just like kind of figure out what the ways to get the running game back going. Especially against a really tough rushing defense against the Patriots. I think you can't get one-sided. If the Patriots start to shut down the running game, and they be able to sit on the pass, I think there's gonna be issues for Sam Darnold. But if we can get the running game at least somewhat capable, cut it to second and six, maybe second and five on a consistent basis, I think we can get I think the Seahawks can get a good offensive flow going. But anything else for these two games? Anything else you want to look at for the Super Bowl before we do a full preview of the next three episodes?
Yeah, I mean, something here is that, I'm happy that Cam Curl's out. Bye bye Cam Curl. And
As a Bears fan, hey, you gotta say as a Bears fan. So
as
we don't think you're just a hater of Cam Curl.
as a Bears fan, and also, just I'm happy that Seahawks won, but at the same time, just a little something to see if I mean not see, but like just wondering what the result would be if it was Bears Seahawks. But yeah, just happy Seahawks got it down. And
Hmm.
so something right now from what I'm looking at, Shador Sander has been named a Pro Bowler, so it's just a little something, but I don't know if it's true or not. But yeah,
Yeah, let's confirm that real quick.
it's perfect timing. Come on now.
Where did you see that?
JPA football. I don't. They're a pretty like reliable source, so.
Yeah, it looks like he has been named a Pro Bowler. That's wait, who got okay, we'll talk about this on Wednesday, but we
I
gotta
don't
look at
I don't know if it's true, but I'm just happy for my Colorado boy. Now, come on.
7 touchdowns, 10 receptions, and he got the Pro Bowl, so that's interesting.
Hey, shh, shh, shh. Quiet. This guy's a shoulder Sanders hater fan, as we all know. But yeah.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next episode where we talk about this more. But peace.
Peace.